I didn't know where it came from. But what I saw was the arm, and the chief of the gendarmerie came to me that these weapons, those things were for us, they were for the National Patriotic Front. What they would do is that they would not have this thing transported in their military vehicles. We have to find civilian trucks, and we will pay for these trucks to ship these weapons to the border of Liberia. And that took another time. We got confused. Till I had passed and gone to the border, I had gone to Bopley already. I didn't know I was there waiting, and he also was waiting for me. No way to get the information to him, and I didn't have money. And while I was there were questions from Kofi Kona. Who is Taylor? What kind of man is he? And he heard that the man broke jail in America. Is he a good man? Is he a man to support? But I defended him in all these questions. I told him, yes, Taylor was a good man. This is politicking, and he's capable. He's a good man to work with, and all of that. They were trying to find out who Taylor was. But I defended him. Now that I must admit. And while I was there, no ammunition, people are dying at the war front, the confusion broke out, soldiers getting hurt, and no ammunition. So Taylor got a little bit confused. He said, but I'm sure that the weapons are there in Abidjan. Why is it that Moses is not bringing these things? Then the late Barclay, I will call his first name. Barclay was a police officer here at the police training. And he had a stroke and he died quite recently. So Barclay was sent to me in Abidjan by Taylor to find out what was happening. So I told him, well, look, the things are here, but then we do not have the money to transport them. So I'm only here and wasting time. And Kofi Kona, the defense minister of Cote d'Ivoire, just bought me a new jacket, a new sneakers, So I'm looking a little bit decent. I was not looking like a fighter now. So when he looked at me, he said, but man, where you got money from? You buying this thing looking correct. He bought me a watch also. That evening he said he was coming to me. And I knew he had gone back to Bopley in Liberia. We were complaining to Taylor that the weapons that are going for are giving them over to Prince Johnson. I sold everything to Prince Johnson. I mean Abidjan and Zuti, and then having good time. The next morning Taylor called by the gendarmerie radio in Cote d'Ivoire that I should report to Bopley. That morning I joined a bus and I drove into Danane. I walked across some kind of bush road we used to take, and I crossed to Bopley in our military camp. Upon my arrival, I was arrested by Benjamin Yeten immediately, tied, put me into a cell, into a jail, where we were, keeping the war prisoners from the Liberian NPFL soldiers captured in war, where we used to keep them. I was there all bloody, all because they come with blood and all on them. So I heard my colleagues by my prison window, they said, we'll kill the Q man tomorrow, 10 men from Tapeta. He went, stole our arm and ammunition. He will be executed tomorrow morning. So I regretted, to join NPFL, to be killed like that. I thought sure I was going to die. But as God would have it, the following morning, Kofi Kona called from Abidjan again. He told me, but Moses Blah disappeared. We cannot, because in my house, the man is always coming to eat in the morning. Why we cannot see him? Till I said, I'm coming there myself. Then he went on to Abidjan. So Kofi said, but where is Moses Blah? He said, oh, Moses Blah was here and he disappeared. He said, no, till I said, I got him. I locked him up because he sold everything that he's supposed to collect here to Prince Johnson. The minister laughed. He said, no, that cannot be truth. He said, this is a man who defended you here in your absence. The man said you are a decent person. This man said you are a good person. You are a man to work with. And he cannot be the same one to betray you like that. He said, this is not a true story. Then he told the lie again and said, well, look, then if Moses is in jail by you to be executed, then it means that everything the people say about you is true. And just a minute, let me talk. He went to the president. He said, let me see my president come. He came back from Ofuiboye. He said, look, I will tell you one thing. If Moses does not come to receive this thing because he has been introduced to the gendarmerie commander here, and nobody else should go into the camp to where we had these things. So if he does not come, if you don't bring him, we will not release the weapon to you. And he returned that evening. He came about midnight. He and his brother Batu came about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he came to me in the same prayer, sardine, mattress. So I said, but what is happening? Batu said, you just wait. Tomorrow we'll find a fact. Because I was sleeping on a piece of mat, while I was in the jail. I mean, going to die, man, there was no respect anymore. And so early that morning, he called a group, those Mancolis, some from the war front, the battle group commanders. And he said, look, gentlemen, why you people have to lie on Moses Blah? The mayor is in Abidjan doing his work. Because there was no money to hire trucks to bring this in. That was brought a delay. He said, you, Prince Barclay, who gave you the information that the man has sent this thing over to Prince Johnson? He said, but then you have to apologize to him. That you have lied on him. And almost costing you death for nothing. So the group came, they all apologized. Oh, sorry, Chief. So I said, well, Chief, let me say one thing. Please, let me go and fight. I'm trained as a guerrilla. Anywhere in your control area, I can fight. I can maneuver. But I don't want to do this kind of operation. I will die for nothing because of lies. He said, no, he called me in his room. He apologized. He said, look, Moses, please don't mind the Gil boys. He said, this is why Samuel Kayando were killing people, you people, and we said that he was doing you harm. It's like your own self. You were killing yourselves. Why these boys will come to me by night to say you are giving every weapon that we have over to Prince Johnson to fight us? And while he was in Abidjan, talking to the gendarmerie base to see what we had and where the pins were kept, and they were intact. So it's about, yeah, these things here. These are the things that the boss say you sold, or you are giving them over to Prince Johnson and your brother. He told me, he said, please go back and bring those things, and I will decide whether you stay or go back on your assignment. So I went, and I chartered trucks, and we brought these things over to Bobley, and there was a very big dance. Everybody happy, dancing, because there were new weapons, and we were using something called Beretta, very old, guns, and they were not modern arms, and you cannot fight with that. The World War II weapons. But when I came this time, those weapons I brought were new AK-47, RPG, GMG, and they were all happy, everybody dancing. And they called upon the frontline commanders. They came and got their supplies. Everybody went back to war. The war began to progress. Everybody happy. So one day as a chief, I think my request to you that I want to go to fight. I do not want to take this dangerous venture anymore. I'm sorry, sir. So he said, okay, I will take a decision, but you will have to come back when you are needed, and I'll call you. Go to Tapeta, and when you go to Tapeta, you be there with the command to see the front line, see what is happening there. Then you have one old pickup. I don't know where they got it from. Old pickup with some funny tires. I drove that pickup. I passed through the butchers in the night. We used to pass the by road to get to Tapeta. So I went that night. On my way, I had an accident, and I managed to face the pickup at night. Some people were in the villages assisted me, and I drove on to Tapeta. I went to Tapeta. And I reported to the battalion commander there at the time. He said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, our commander, our leader has asked that I come here to work with you." He said, "Oh yes, I got a position for you. You are a third platoon leader." At that time, there was really hot war because Doe was putting on defensive from Grand Judah and coming to take Tapeta and come to Sekaipi. So there was heavy fighting. So the commander then said, "Well, you have to be a third platoon commander. You have to go to fight." So I said, "My God." I went the first day, and the company commander at the time received me in a town called Broad Diala. There's a border town with Cote d'Ivoire. I mean, not Cote d'Ivoire, with Grand Judah. And this boy, he said, "No, I cannot let you fight. When I was in Libya, you were my commander, and I don't know what the battalion commander is talking about. What you would do, you're not a platoon leader, but you would be here, you are taking men on an ambush, and you will be carrying food to the fighting men at the front line, those who sleep in ambush. You will go to change them in the morning and carry the new men to replace them." So I said, "All right." I did that for about a week or two. Then the manager from LAC, they were finding a way to run because the tension was on that side. So he came with a brand new pickup that he was using. And he said, "Oh, I think I will give you this pickup because I'm trying to find my way. I want to escape to go." So I accepted the pickup. I thanked him for the pickup. That afternoon, so happy for my new pickup, I drove the pickup to Tapeta. I'm from Tapeta. So when I drove the pickup to Tapeta, the battalion commander at the time for us in Tapeta saw me in my pickup. He said, "You get down from that pickup." So I said, "Man, why?" He said, "Well, I'm the battalion commander here, does not have a car, and you have a brand new pickup, you have to get down." I said, "I will not." He ordered a man, so I had to rent for my AK-47 in my car. I took my gun. A big confusion. At that time, Taylor had just entered Tapeta. He was going to the missionaries up the hill. So they said, "But there's a fighting in town that Moses Blah and the battalion commander." He said, "Yeah, go and call him." So I went to him. He said, "But Moses, what happening?" And I explained. I said, "But I came here, and the battalion commander made me a platoon, third platoon leader, and the company commander refused, and he said instead I should help him with people on ambush and carry food." He said, "You what? Who made you company commander?" I said, "The battalion commander." He said, "Send for the man." So when the man came, he said, "When you were in Libya, who was your commander? Who was the last commander that brought you to Liberia?" He said, "Moses Blah." He said, "But I did not send the man here to fight." He said, "In fact, let me tell you this man's position right now." He called the man. He said, "This man is the Inspector General for National Patriotic Front, responsible for crime committed against human beings. These people, illegal thing you're doing, raping people, women, looting here. He will put everything under control. He's not here to fight. He's your chief." He apologized to me. He said, "Well, I'm sorry." And so that time I became big man. I have a position, and everybody was saluting me now. I said, "Well, thank God." And I got also, I made fun to him with him. I said, "Look, you salute me because you battalion commander. I'm Inspector General of the entire operation." And they begin to respect me by that. Then something else happened. One day, I went on an inspection. Some people had beaten us, some foreigners, some Ghanaians, some Sierra Leoneans was coming from Ghana, not Ghana, from Buchanan, and trying to find a way to hide in an old company camp called Flamingo Camp.
Can you tell what year is this now?
This is 1990. 1990 September or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
1990. So when I arrested these soldiers and trying to detain them. But then with NPFL as Inspector General, I have problem. The problem I was having is that there was a certain group called the EMG Battalion. They are Executive Mansion Guard Battalion. I cannot arrest them because they do not take order from me. It's directly from the, they take directive directly from the commander-in-chief at the time. And they would commit crime, they would do some funny things. I could arrest them, but it was not possible because I was told that I have no authority over these guys. So they went there and beat these people. What I did was I took them to the hospital, took some of the people to Buchanan, and I decided, what I did was I said, well, look, send the Nigerian, the Sierra Leonean, and you people are moving, they're hearing it, that Ghanaians are hearing him in a huge number, and they say ECOMOG coming, they are comprises of Ghanaians, and they are killing these people. I will take them in a camp, 6,000 human beings. I took these people in a camp, I asked the cattle release people for the trucks, and I transported them in this camp, and they were giving me food to feed them. I put them in Flamingo camp for about half a year. They were burning babies, some were dying from hunger. So some group of my men, my colleagues, went again to tell her and said, look, Moses Blah is over there and trying to group the Ghanaian, the Nigerian, the ECOMOG bringing them to fight. He opened a way for them and they're going to fight us from Flamingo camp. I went till I signed again to find out what was I doing. So I said, no, Chief. These are armless people. These are people from Marshall, from Buchanan, from other parts of the coastline. And I'm trying to keep them. If you want to become president of this country, and these boys are going and killing the people, looting their money, looting their things, it won't work out well with us. You say, okay, Moses, just go back and do your work. But what you will do, if you are protecting them, put a gate that no soldier without an authority will pass, go to this camp. That was also terrible for me. Before that order was given me, these boys, my boys used to go there in the day with the one woman that was asleep, because these are girls running from war and they know where to go somewhere. Student of Bassa High School, decent looking people, but they were foreigners. So when I put this gate, I became big enemy to my boys. But God will have it, will control the situation. One evening, I came to Tabata, and there was a radio announcement that we have people in Kipamos, two of our commanders in charge of Kipamos. They had just sent them there. And the treatment that they were receiving, the citizens help I was receiving from them, it was not an easy thing again. So he called. Till us, he heard that from BBC. He said, Moses Blah, I beg you, there's another assignment again. You have to go to Maryland, at the southeastern region, Sino, Maryland. You will be the commander. I beg you, go there and try to control the situation. Upon arriving there, one of the commanders ran away, he escaped. But anyway, I grabbed one, tied him, put him in the back of a car, and sent him over to Banga. And I took over Kipamos. I went to Taboo, people who ran away from our own group. I went, I brought a car, I took the people back to Kipamos. I called the Beninese that were there, they were also hiding. I told them to open stores. If anybody, any soldier from my command takes anything from you, bring a complaint. I will know what to do. In the process, one morning, before I even took full control of the place, one of my soldiers said a boy took a cap from his head. He took, the man took a cap, bam, he shot the man. The man died on the spot. So I said, what? They came and called me and said, one of your soldiers killed one man. They said the man took a cap from his head. So I took radio and called Taylor. I said, but chief, somebody had committed murder here. What can we do? He said, but set up a boy, investigate a man. If a man is guilty, he didn't die like the man too. Exactly what I did. And we shot this man. He was guilty for just shooting people for nothing. We killed this man. Then the people of Maryland began to return. One of the commanders at the time, he had taken all the people vehicles, the United Nations vehicles, the people trucks. Then he had 7 wives. Then the women, all of them have their name on the vehicles. And they had their names on the vehicles. So I called a conference, executive conference. I called the people of Kipamus in the town hall. I said, yo, please come and listen to me. Anybody here that makes their property, generator, cars, please come up with me and come and identify your things in this my commander's house. As we went closer, you have my truck there, you have my taxi there, you have my pickup there, you have my generator there. So I told the person, look, as you identify your thing, please take it out. I told the superintendent at the time, I said, please identify that this thing belongs to the people. They too could be looting other people's properties. He said, no, that are rightful properties owner. So I gave the properties back to them. My name was Zeh Blah when I was in Kipamus. Later, the people of Kipamus call me Pabla. This is why my name is Pabla today. People don't even know me. When they write to me, they call me Mr. Pabla. So my name is Zeh Blah. And the people returned, the people came home, and we were living there very, very fine. Very, very fine. Then I left and came to Monrovia for inspection. One of our big men saw my pickup, and he said, the pickup tire is a very fine pickup tire. You in Kipamus, you are enjoying. What we will do is, I think we got to change you as Inspector General to come to Banga and let somebody else go to Kipamus. I didn't talk, I thought he was joking. And I went back to Kipamus. When I was in Kipamus, for the second time, there were containers and rubbers and everything inside. So I said, but what is containers here? We're now inspecting this place, and we're thinking about people threatening to come and attack us. So I ordered my soldier, bust the container open. With the 2 containers, there were 2 jeeps in the container. So we bust the thing open. We took one of the jeeps off first, the white one, and then we took the red one. And the rubber, I assigned people at the port. Nobody should come and take this rubber from here until we find out from the commander-in-chief. Then I called Banga. I said, but there are 2 containers here. We're getting ready for shipment when we enter, and there are 2 jeeps inside. And I'm taking a short one to use, and I want to give one to this health and social welfare people. That one government agency said, well, there were no car. So I said, look, for you to keep working here, you will take one of the jeeps to use because you do not have a car. Then he said, in fact, you come with a jeep. Let me see what a car looks like. I drove from Kipamus to Banga. You look at the jeep, he laughed. He said, oh, I thought it was a decent car. Report got to me already that you burst into the container, you tow vehicles. He said, there's nothing. You take the sim and use it. So I drove back to Kipamus with this shop-based jeep. It's not, they were used by the company. It was nothing new. So I drove back to Kipamus with a car. And I don't know what happened to it. I think I gave it to one of my commanders to use or so. And I was there. Then as this man was joking, with me that have stayed long in Kipamas, the decision I reached already to the commander-in-chief that I come back to Banga. He called me and said, well, you have to come to Banga because you are Inspector General, you would not stay in one place for a long time. And that's what I did, and I came back to Banga, and I replaced immediately. The man who replaced me, he saw the stores all open, the fishermen working the fish. So he assigned people at the pier while the people were bringing the fish. He was just taking fish. He goes to the store. He would not buy anything. He said, but he told me before I left, he said, if I'm in Cape Town, I will not buy clothes. And my children will not buy clothes. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm going to take them. He said, but there's a free place, there are free things here. You are an old person, that's why. So the fellow, he did, I know why he did. And he was also ordered tied. And I know how he left there because I wasn't there. And the company, he ordered the logging companies, why he did, I know. He ordered the logging companies to pay $50,000 a month and open a gas station for him. If not, they will not do the logging in the area. He accepted some money from them. They report came to Banga, and when Taylor said, no, you arrest the man, bring the man to me, and he came and he admitted, and I don't know what happened. He died in the process. I don't know. That one left with he and the commander-in-chief. A long story. I was in Banga. Then we came to Monrovia. Taylor became president. We came to Monrovia. Taylor had decided to go to Libya for a visit. And when he became president, he said, well, look, you have to take me to Libya. You were one of the commanders there, and you are known there, people respect you there. So when he became president, I went there. And while I was in Libya, we went to see Gaddafi. And it was not Taylor who recommended me to be Liberian ambassador to Libya. It was Gaddafi. And when you saw me, he recognized me. He said, Musa. He said, Musa. So Taylor said, oh, the man know you. I said, yeah, well, yeah, I was the adjutant here. He used to come to the base. Then he told Taylor, well, if you want to send ambassador here, you have to send Musa to be your ambassador here. So he, Taylor too, said, this man out here, Talibi. Talibi had been our supply man on the base who used to bring food for us while we were in Tajura. So Taylor too said, look, he said, Gaddafi, I think, he said, leader, then Talibi too will have to come to Liberia to be your ambassador to me. And they both agreed. Then I came and that's how I became ambassador in Libya and Tunisia. And Talibi too came to Liberia. Whether he stayed here or he had left, I don't know. And I became ambassador. I was there for about 3 years as Liberian ambassador to Libya and Tunisia. But I came home to take my children. Yes, okay, as the story goes. You have to be patient with me because it has been long. This is roughly 20 years ago, and I can't remember exactly what I'm saying, but I can record. This is why it's difficult to say the date and time. So, but the event happens. So this is why I'm trying to pick in what I can remember. So when I came back to Liberia to take my children, that when Dogulia died, the first vice president for President Taylor government, and when died, each time I want to go, I would tell, look, Chief, I want to go back to post. He would say, oh, Moses, you wait. Oh, Moses, you wait. I didn't know his thinking, that he wanted me to become vice president in place of Dogulia. So one afternoon, I will call upon to our party headquarters, NPP headquarters, and I met a heavy group some big authority in my party. There were 50 persons already waiting. So they put it to a vote. And I was not in there. We all were contesting, they put us outside. And when they called me in lastly, and tell us, say, well, I recommend Moses Blah. He can do this job. And then they put it to a vote. I saw everybody's hand coming up. And he stated his reason why he wanted me to become vice president instead of, in place of Dogulia. He said, I remember, he said when we started a revolution in Libya years back, his promise to us was that the second in command of his government must be from our group, from our tribe, in fact, because we fought along with him. And I became vice president of Liberia. I was vice president. I was doing my work fine. I was functioning as I should. Now until the trouble came in Ghana, he had gone to Ghana for peace talk. He has gone to Ghana for peace talk. And I was here as a vice president. And he was in Ghana also with my wife. My wife had gone to Ghana on a plane that took him to Ghana. We went with the president. And I was there with my children. I was hearing through my wife what was happening in Ghana, that he was coming back. When they went there, the indictment over your president here is coming. Then a group of government officials came to me at my house. And they asked me, they said, but you have to announce to the public to tell them what is happening to the president. I said, no, I will not do this until I get an authority from the president. I have no sole authority to go to radio and just talk on the government matters. If that directive comes from the president, which I'll be willing to do. And that when Benjamin Yete went ahead of me and announced that some kind of military bombardment will happen and what, and that announcement came. But the official legislature that asked me to do that, which I refused because I was not authorized to do so. So it was Benjamin Yete who gave the announcement. While in my house, a telephone call came from the American embassy, from a man calling himself the Charges Affairs of the U.S. Embassy. He said, is it the vice president? I said, yes. He said, but it's getting dark, and I'll put in his own word. He said, it's getting dark, and the notorious ATU are all in the streets. We can see their jeeps up and down, and we are afraid tonight there will be looting, there will be all kinds of things going on. What are you doing? But the president is not here. So I said, oh no, I'm out here. Benjamin Yete, who is the chief security, is also here. So I don't think you have fear. I'm out here myself. I'm here. And anything, you can get in touch with me. Or Benjamin Yete. That when he called Benjamin on the phone, he said, well, I just spoken with the vice president. He said, you are the chief of SS, and you are also out there to control crime tonight because the president is not here and they are hearing all kinds of news and your fighters are everywhere, roaming the city. That's from the American embassy. That was telephone conversation. I put the phone on speaker for my bodyguards to listen to people who are working. I said, but what the American men asking, why they are so afraid? And they said they are powerful people. So they had a confusion. And the conversation ended with me and that Charge Affair of the American embassy. So when Taylor arrived that evening, I drove to Robertsfield to welcome him with hawk and everything. Then he came to this house. He said, well, I'm not talking to anybody until tomorrow morning. I will have a meeting. I went home. My wife had her bags in my car, her luggages and things. She had gone there to buy her, she had a boutique, and she went to buy her things. So it would be a little bit cheaper if she come in with government plane and with the president and so on. So when she bought the things were staying in my car. By the time I entered my house, her telephone call came from from White Flower. Benjamin said, look, Mr. VP, you are needed by the president. So I said, oh, but the president already told me that he will not see us until tomorrow morning. Why is he calling me again? So I told my wife. She said, well, let me put my things down. I said, no, yeah, I'm running to the president. I will come right back. But I entered Red Flower. I saw 3 men, well armed. They said, come out from the car. I got them and said, report to the president. When I went, the full cabinet was there, and a few legislators were in there with him already. He did not give me a seat. He said, you Moses Blah, and did not even address him properly. The first time to happen. Here, you Moses Blah, you want to overthrow my government? Wow, not here. I said, no. He said, did you talk to the American embassy? I said, yes. He said, but yeah, I think you are guilty because you have no right to talk to the people from the American embassy. I said, well, will you allow me to explain, sir? He said, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Then other people, other cabinet ministers were there. Oh man, man, ain't supposed to speak to the people. Man, ain't supposed to speak to America. The people, everybody were putting words, like, trying to crucify me. Well, I didn't mind. I said, well, let me explain. I said, you were all over the country. Or call came from the American embassy. And what the man said was the notorious how they call ATU and the fighting men are all in the street and they are roaming the street. They are afraid there won't be any control. So I told them, no, I'm here, and Benjamin Yete, who is the chief of security, is here. That's what I said. I said, you can ask the Americans. We were talking, then a call came from the State Department because the American people are cutting the story. Then they told him that they never discussed cool with me, and what I said was exactly what I said. He said, I tell you, man, you finished your name. So they took my gun, the army, my pistol, took my cell phone, brought me down roughly, While we were going to Benjamin Yetin's house, then 2 other fellas ran from the White Flower and called one Joe Toa on the side, and I know the briefing on what. Then he said, no, Chief, you should kill a man to my house way. Ben said, why don't we kill a man? So he said, no, you'll kill a man to my house. We went in one squeeze room. They put me in a room with some Sierra Leoneans fighters, about close to 50, surrounding the house and speaking Creole, which I could not understand what they were talking. But what I could pick up from their talking was that, we are carrying VP on the Ralphie Highway tonight. The VP going home tonight. Then while they were squeezing me in the room, one boy, he's here with me, my burglar. The boy sneaked with me in the room because they were rushing me. So he went under the bed. He wanted to see what would happen to me. They want to sleep. They said, let's pray. He must say pray. So in the morning when they came to check on me, he was there. They said, what are you doing here? Who put you here? Who brought you here? They put him or they dragged him aside. Then he went. They told him to get away, move from the area. Then he went. Then my wife fought her way to find me. When Nettie came, she said, Benjamin Yete is my husband. I will have to slow down because it brings tears to me. Excuse me, Chairman. Sorry.
It's okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Then my wife said, if this man wants to overthrow the president, is now court, you must take my husband to court. My wife believed in God. So I told her, I said, please go home before Benjamin kill you. Then she said, I will die with you. So what I bring it here is it was a lie. Why you must lie on me? But before this happens, President Taylor had called me earlier. He said, look, we give you $1 million to do business. Let become the Vice President of Liberia. Should in case I decide to leave, he will work in your place, which I accepted. Every day I went to him, I was talking all this money. I said, since this is the case, she want the money. Give me even half of it, 1/3 of the money, it will be all right. Then he pulled it to a joint, oh, Moses, I'm just joking with you, you forget it. But then when I went to jail to be killed, then when I said, oh, I see. Maybe he didn't want to give me this money, and that he had to twist it this way. But he didn't say that from his mouth, so I knew. So my wife stood firm. My wife is a Christian, she's a pastor. She said, you will not die. Then my wife said one thing. She said, I have the courage. He said, this is the same Taylor, when he calls you and you eating, you will salute the food you are eating, like Taylor is standing before you. He said, this is a man you respect so much, to tend to be the one to kill you. Well, but there's God. So the legislators came in, they said, well, according to the law of this country, the speaker cannot become president in your place when the vice president is standing, is capable. He has become president here for 3 years. He is not sick. So the man must be the second in your place. And that became 22nd president of the Republic of Liberia. So, Chairman, thank you very much for your patience. I'm very sorry. Some of these stories can bring tears to you because very pitiful. The revolution, if I was a young man, that somebody called me now and said, let's go overthrow this government, I will refuse, because we came a long way and we passed through pains. I would say something again before I close from my side. I'm a member of the National Patriotic Front of Liberia. One of the founding members. As I said, I was the first 22-man group. It means that we started a revolution before other people can follow us to go to Libya to train. Libya, while we were in training in Libya, Gaddafi talked to us. Gaddafi didn't want to bring trouble to the world. The name Mantaba I just mentioned to you, Mantaba International was an organization, godly organization, that anybody who is oppressed by another group, that organization was there to free you. Like how we went to Gaddafi and we talked to Gaddafi on how people being treated here, how people were beheaded everywhere in this country, more especially the Gio, the Manu tribe. So he didn't like the idea. He wanted the government removed, so we can have a government, acceptable to all. So everybody would be happy with this government. I think these are some of that's what Gaddafi was thinking about. Gaddafi did not train us to say you go at Africa, go at Cote d'Ivoire, go at Agé. No. I think that idea was different. Everything changed from the revolution when we came to Monrovia, because we had special forces meeting. We used to meet regularly. To go according to the guideline of the revolution. But when we got here, we have people calling themselves junior commando. We have other politicians that are coming in with their own intentions. Some people wanted to get rich overnight, and some people were really doing the work truly according to the revolution. The latter thing went in. You see, what makes up a game now. People became bitterly rich in this country, that the money they get now, nobody can go close to them. Then I will express to you before I stop, Mr. Chairman, I'm afraid I might not go to court tomorrow, because I went to the Hague and I said what I saw, and I said nothing but the truth. And upon arriving here in this country, I was sued in a civil law court by an individual. The case is still in court. The case has cost me already $20,000 United States dollars to pay lawyers. And this time maybe I'll pay $40,000, $50,000 from talking to TRC, I don't know, the procedure here. So these are my concerns. I want you to know. So I want to address myself to the issue, because I have not come here to complain. I was just explaining what I saw and what I did. So I'm not taking anybody to court like what I said in The Hague, but it turned to a lawsuit here in Liberia. Up to now, nobody is talking. Maybe some when you got plenty of money, nobody can talk to you in this country. But we are waiting to see the result of this case. So I thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We very much appreciate that despite those troubling experiences, you have come and willing to speak the truth also before this body. Our country is in dire need of reconciliation and sustainable peace. We cannot bury those who have died based on falsehoods, and we cannot build reconciliation on falsehood either. And so we thank you very much for coming, and we'd like to add that everybody who appears here before the commission are protected. Your testimonies cannot be the subject of any court action, whether a civil action or a criminal action. And this, I think, all Liberians have understood by now. Since our experience, we've had nearly 900 to 800 witnesses so far coming before the commission, and only one has been attempted with a lawsuit. And that suit was dismissed instantly when the TRC made its representation and provided the needed protection for that witness. In so doing, we also say only the truth expressed here can be protected. what is not said before the TRC is not covered by the TRC protection. So that is why we encourage everybody to speak freely, because we know this will help our country in its healing process. So we thank you very much, and with your indulgence, we'd like to take a 1 hour's break, and then we return for questions and answers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Hearing Officer will resume at 1 o'clock.